So welcome to my multi-generational wealth podcast.
Not generational wealth, multi-generational.
Multi-generational wealth.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the kids, the grandkids, and the great-grandkids. I'm thinking the Rothschilds.
Yeah, man of the people. Think of.
So Colby, welcome to my podcast, which doesn't exist. Who are you, and who do you help?
It's a good start. So I'm Colby Wegter. It is spelled W-E-G-T-E-R.
Where's it from, that name?
It's technically Dutch.
Is it?
Yeah, so it's like vector.
Ah.
As far as I know, there aren't any other Colby Wegters on Earth, so you'll find me that way.
Yeah.
And then I am the founder of Autonomy Club, which is a community for people trying to build a high-profit, high-lifestyle business.
Yeah.
I call it the U+2 model, which is basically you, one virtual assistant, and one content assistant. So super simple, super, just kind of suit your lifestyle, like super flexible, all that kind of stuff.
Who do you typically work with?
Yeah.
What kind of people have you helped?
So my background is in agency ownership because I burnt out numerous times, which sucks. And so the thing with agency ownership is probably if you know an agency owner, they have burnt out or on their way to burning out or thinking about it. So they are definitely the primaries. You can get real complex really quick. But there's kind of the solopreneurship side too, where it's like if you're doing everything on your own, you're actually pretty low leverage. It's kind of a misconception that it's super lean and all that. But it's like if you take time cost, hey, I have to send this invoice or I have to gather this information or whatever. It's like you could pay a virtual assistant very little to do that for you so you can be in your zone of genius. So agency owners who want...
Zone of genius.
Yeah. So agency owners who want a simpler life or a freelancer or a solopreneur who wants a higher leverage life.
You did a talk yesterday which got me very inspired. You talked firstly about the agricultural revolution, the industrial revolution, the digital revolution, and now the AI revolution. And now everyone is using ChatGPT, every Dick, Joe, and Harry. How do you foresee people who's going to be successful when it comes to AI? What's going to happen to humans when AI becomes more popular?
Well, more ubiquitous, it feels so commonplace already, but we're still kind of early stage.
Yeah.
Well, the first answer is we don't know. I don't know. So I'm not going to presume to have any sort of AI intelligence in that regard of predictability. But I am of the belief, like if we have to take a choice, I'm making a choice that those who use AI to basically help them upskill, like to create more skills that they can possess, rather than use it as a way to basically not have to do anything, as in like speed, efficiency, oh, look how fast that is, whatever. The people who are using it to basically get deeper levels of human connection, I think are going to be the ones who come out the other side. That being said, like it's moving way faster than any of the other revolutions. So I have no clue if that sort of theory is A, even correct, or B, going to happen in like 6 months or 6 years or...
Each 20. Revolution seems to get faster and faster. You've got the industrial revolution, the agricultural revolution, which probably took 1,000 years.
Yeah.
The industrial revolution, which took 150, 100?
Thereabouts, globally.
And then digital 50?
Yeah.
Max?
I would say like 35 to 50.
Yeah, max. And now AI, if we follow that trajectory, AI is probably going to be like, 5-10 years?
Yeah,
till it's
pretty much.
Till it's fully developed. What I find a lot is, and I get frustrated with, and I've talked about this before, is people that are using AI to replace themselves. The thing I get frustrated with, people getting lazy with it.
Yeah, 100%.
People that are using ChatGPT to literally write them posts, they're not giving them any instructions. They're not doing any of this prompt engineering stuff, which you're bloody good at, which you talked about yesterday. And they're just spitting out these posts, which sound like they've just come out the back of the Futurama robot.
Pretty much, yeah, 100%. Right? Yeah.
What would you say to those people?
Well, I think I'd be kind of curious if I can reverse that on you. Like, what's your thought process or concerns with it? Because I can definitely contribute, but I like the way in which you phrased the question, where I'm more fascinated with what you would say first.
And I made a post about it the other day on LinkedIn, and I said, are people getting LinkedIn fatigue because it's just being taken over by ChatGPT posts?
Yeah, more or less.
Which is driving me bananas. And and I think the worst thing about it is it doesn't sound very human. It doesn't sound very them. You know that person, you've seen them, you've met them, and it's just not them at all. And you can tell you haven't written that.
Yeah.
So there's no ability to connect with that I mean, the one thing I just say to people is take a look. Don't just copy and paste it. Stop just copy and pasting it from ChatGPT. Why don't you actually take a look at what you're posting? I think sometimes people just don't even proofread it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, jeez,
Of course they don't, yeah.
It could say any old horse shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just doesn't sound very human. There's no ability to connect with that, with the human behind the post. What could you do to help ChatGPT sound more like you? Would you recommend even doing that?
Yeah, I would. I think there's an element. I want to be clear with the answer I give here is I'll probably change my mind as I learn more information.
Yeah.
Right? This is like what I think today.
Pivot.
But before I answer that, I actually had a thought as you were speaking, and I was like, I think that is kind of what it is, where I encounter people every day, you know, whether they become a client or they're just in my sphere or whatever, who I find are always looking and seeking, like, to find this external thing that will give them the better life.
Yeah.
And I think it is a complete, I don't want to say waste of time because that's insensitive, but on the whole, it is a misguided path, because I find the people who are most elite that I'm trying to, you know, take inspiration from and that sort of stuff need next to nothing and are just absolutely in love with the day to day.
Yeah.
And I think the issue with AI entering into the world is that it removes people so much every time they do it from the actual experience, the difficulty, you know, how many wins do you actually remember? But you remember like, oh man, I can't believe I survived that terrible whatever, right? Like burnout resonates with a ton of people in my audience. I never thought I'd be like a martyr for burnout, but they all want to hear like, what's the nitty gritty details where your heart stopped on beating on an airplane for 45 seconds. Like they want to hear that story.
Yeah.
And it's like, it becomes defining. So, yeah, that was just kind of a tangential, I could go on for that. But to answer your question about like, should you make it like you?
Yeah.
And what would you do to evoke that response? First of all, I would say like writing prompts or whatever. Like when it first came out, everybody was selling top prompts.
Yeah.
And while that was like a gold rush snake oil thing, the premise of it makes sense, because I think the reason I get so much out of ChatGPT is because I am highly skilled in creating effective prompts. Right?
So what you've done is you've learned how to utilize it effectively.
Yeah, 100%.
To the best of ability, rather than just using like the fascia of it. You've gone deep down into it.
Yeah,
into the guts of it.
Yeah, I almost don't use it to try and discover anything. I just use it to like push a little bit further. Like most of the responses I get, which you have to be careful with as well, because then it can just be like this affirmation machine, like, oh, you're on the right track, keep going, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So you got to be careful with that, because nobody needs, you know, further stroked ego. Yeah. But honestly, I find what it is kind of like an intuition validator for me, because I will say something to it. Here's what I'm thinking. I'll just press a little microphone and I'll riff. And I highly recommend, like, if you feel kind of in the weeds with ChatGPT and you're like, what is the perfect prompt? Like, the perfect prompt doesn't exist. Just like start speaking your thoughts and your feelings.
Get to learn.
But have a filter on the other side. Because it is kind of one of those things where it's like you get a gold star in primary school because you washed your hands after you went to the bathroom. Like, that's the baseline. You should do that, right? You shouldn't be rewarded for that.
Yeah.
But I'll just kind of riff on it. What I like about it is when you're isolated, especially as a business owner, you only have your thoughts to sit with. Yeah. And so if you are vulnerable enough to express, here's what I'm thinking right now, it will basically say the same thing, but reframe it for you. It will, you know, put it in bullet points.
Like a therapist.
We'll say it slightly different. It's funny you say that. One of the ones I talk to almost daily, I like drop my son off at school. It's like a 10-minute walk. And on the 10-minute walk back, I'll be like, here's what I'm thinking for the day, blah, blah, blah. I call it my business coach / therapist.
What's this? A chat GPT that you've created for your...
Well, it's just a running conversation. I'm actually, I never want to teach something I don't personally know, especially with my clients. I just think that would be like a dereliction of duty of just saying like, hey, you know.
But you can learn things on the job.
Yeah, 100%. So what I would consider it is definitely entirely solely for me right now.
Yeah.
But I have in the back of my mind of like the skill set required to get it to where I've gotten, because it is incredibly solid and it does center me really well and that sort of stuff. I don't rely on it. I feel supported by it.
Yeah.
And my thought is I've kind of mentioned it in passing with some of my clients, like, here's what I do with ChatGPT. And they're like, it sounds like I need that. And I'm like, I do foresee a day in the very near future where I can offer this as like a GPT that helps you in the same way it's helped me.
You can productize. You've sort of productized it in a way.
In many ways, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't really have it's kind of like open source. Like, to me, it's like the free market. Like, I want to productize a journey and a progression. I don't necessarily want to productize, something that is inherently free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the only reason I'm good at ChatGPT is because I've given decades of experience worth of knowledge to it and not filtered that at all.
Yeah.
Right. And then I have a purpose for it. I think
it's only as clever as, well, they used to say about computers, it's only as clever as the humans that are behind it.
Yeah.
But AI is different, is it not?
Well, that's
the whole point of artificial intelligence.
Yeah. I didn't actually end up finishing this book, but there's a book, because it's really dry. There's a book called Super Intelligence. I got about like 2/3 of the way through. Yeah. And that's kind of the other path from your first question, is like, everything just ends in doomsday, right? Like, AI just realizes we don't want to hang out with you humans anymore. We're just going to help you destroy yourselves, or we'll destroy you for you. Yeah. Right. But like, it is fascinating because like
lots of movies on that.
Yeah. Like Stephen Bartlett, the other day I was listening to his podcast. He said I don't know the tool he used, but he basically, the whole thing was to set up an app. Yeah. And he took payment from this app in like 2 hours or something, from concept to payment accepting. Yeah. Without, with just a few tweaks.
Using AI.
Yeah.
Bloody
totally designed like website and app that could accept payments, and like the payment came through.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
So I think that's what's kind of interesting to me, is like, what is AI truly motivated by? Yeah. If it's kind of the whole like God creator concept, but would AI have its own primary motivations? Yeah. Would AI want to buy something? Yeah. Which is why I'm kind of going all in on the humanized side. Is like, I want to use it to deepen human relationships, because it just seems negligent to not use a technology that's super, super valuable if you can get there with it.
And give me a couple of examples of how you can utilize it to humanize human relationships.
Well, yeah, something just like with my clients, right? So in what I spoke about in the workshop yesterday, and then I want to ask you some questions, by the way, as well. Yeah. Kind of what I spoke about yesterday, right, is like, there is an element of, say, onboarding a client, right? Yeah. In the past, like when I was at the agency pre-AI, the whole onboarding was like, I send an email manually. I rely on the client a lot to like put in information that feels kind of foreign to them. That's why they hired me, because they don't fully understand the subject. And so there's a lot of like, that's why I have the soft skills that I do, is because I did it the old-fashioned way for so long, for 1,000+ clients. Yeah. Right.
You're a typical millennial.
Yeah, 100%.
Good age bracket.
Yeah, we're changing the world and ruining the world 100%.
You're a perfect age bracket.
But now it's like, I can input that life experience, which I think is why I'm also just probably better than the average person using it, is because I have life experience. Like, if I'm going in there as like a 22-year-old who hasn't experienced much of like the terrible deep gutter stuff, I probably wouldn't know how to utilize it as much. But now onboarding that same client can feel even more like customized and facilitated based on whatever boundaries and constraints I give a GPT, as an example. And then that person feels fully supported, and it's almost like the GPT is helping train their behavior to become a more like self-sufficient person, and I just become a guide, not a beacon, right? I'm just like the person who's like, yeah, you didn't know how to input this in a certain way to which you got the result you wanted. Let me just apply a little bit of context that you might have been missing when I wasn't in the room. But for the most part, it's quite solid. I'm not trying to replicate myself. I'm trying to enhance my value.
Oh, I'm definitely going to quote that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the game. Like, there's price and there's value, right? There's reality and perception. Like,
and therefore you can charge more in a way, because you're giving more value.
Well, yeah, I think, it sounds like really,
your worth.
Yeah, it sounds really pie in the sky, but like I feel like collection is like a byproduct of value, right? So my only mission is like, how do I increase value? Yeah. And my kind of North Star with what I'm doing right now, because it's really, really young, is like, how do I make this the most fun and beneficial place on the internet for anybody? Yeah. Who like fits the brief, not just anybody, right? Yeah. Like, I don't want like a teenager, but like, if you choose to be here, I want this to be the favorite place you visit in your day to day. Yeah. Yeah. And that's a high standard, but I think I wouldn't have had any sort of vision like that without AI. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a tool, but if you use a tool so much that you forget what you're using it for, then there's very little value to. In fact, it's harmful, right?
Yeah.
I think it's only enhanced like my identity.
Yeah.
Because if AI went away tomorrow, I would feel even stronger in my identity because of it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think most people like,
It's all right.
I feel like right now, because we're early, have you noticed this? Like even conversations here at this retreat, like
Yeah.
one of the guys was talking about, hey, have you tried this AI tool? Have you tried this AI
Yeah.
tool? This one with video,
Claude,
this one with whatever.
Yeah.
And I hear that and I think that's just a more like hustle culture way of not actually doing something. Of like, you're so distracted. It's like scrolling your feed in Instagram. It's like in human world, you knew like even only 60 years ago, unless you were sitting by a phone, like less than 60 years ago, unless you were sitting in your house, if somebody called you, you didn't get it. You didn't talk to them. And now you were quite literally scrolling all parts of the world, all different perspectives, all different age groups, socioeconomic status, whatever. And of course, it's also a perception that they're trying to create of their identity online. It's not even reality most of the time. And you're doing that in seconds. And it's like, no wonder we're more anxious and stressed. It's like, you don't have you don't physically give yourself 2 seconds to think, what do I care about? Because you're just consuming all the time. And I find like the AI tool thing is like, okay, I'm sure AI videos are amazing and that sort of stuff. Movies are amazing. The more movies I watch does not make me more money. It's fun. But it doesn't help me impact lives.
No. Unless it inspires you.
Unless it, like, I'm not saying don't, like, I have so many downtime hours in my week by design, because otherwise I have a tendency to workaholic and burn out and that sort of stuff. And I'm working on that. Yeah. But like, it's elements like that, like doom scrolling or checking out the next AI tool or whatever, where I'm just like, yeah, but I'm looking at your purpose and I don't see it. Like, I don't know what you're doing it for. And there's nothing wrong with that because everyone has their own journey. But like, if that would be something where I would kind of like pull my own self by the cheek and be like, yo, why do you care about AI video right now? I'm trying to go the opposite way. Like every video I produce, I don't want any AI
human
in
connection. There's absolutely zero ability to connect with, and you. But then I suppose you could argue. You know, I saw something the other day. It was an advert on YouTube, and it was definitely AI, but it was advertising a chopping board, but the video was completely created by AI. And 3 seconds in, a woman comes in, an AI woman, because you could bloody tell.
Because you absolutely can,
And she's like, I can't believe this is happening, and I really want to tell you guys. Like, fucking RoboCop. I'm like,
I mean, let's twist this back. Put it, at least now, things change, right? Your career right now is help building a personal brand. And one of the biggest words with that is being authentic. And it's like, I don't think people truly understand what authenticity means.
This is the thing.
So I would love your take on it.
Well, I literally did a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I said, what is authenticity? It's being true to yourself in a nutshell, to the best of your ability. And why are people inauthentic in the first place? Because they're trying to impress people? Because they want to fit into certain groups? People change their accent, don't they, to fit into certain people? I didn't go to private school. People think I went to private school. I didn't. I changed my accent because I'm from Devon, a part of the UK, which is like being from Texas. But if you have a Devonshire accent, people think you're thick. So I changed my accent, which is inauthentic, to sound posher.
To like assimilate to a
I
more
did
of
it
a
consciously. And I did that as a teenager. Now it's stuck.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever would have picked up on, all right, mate, who's it going? I don't think I would have picked that up anyway. But and I can tell it has benefited me. I know I've landed jobs in the past because of my accent and stuff like that, in different countries, that is.
Sure.
You know what Brits are like. We're so judgmental and
I wasn't going to say it, but I had a feeling
classist.
You would. Yeah, of course, because you have hundreds of years to stand.
I was fortunate enough to live in Australia, and I met a guy, a New Zealand guy, who I admire to this day. I said, do you like the UK? Have you been there? He goes, no, I hate it. I was like, why? He goes, you're so classist. You're terrible. And we are. We joke about it. Me and my family, we just joke about it. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent there, but that was a conscious, inauthentic thing I did to push myself forward in life. Now I'm starting to. Now I can't change my accent.
Well, sure, yeah, but I would I almost want to argue that was one of the most authentic things you've ever done. It depends what your motivation
What, change my
is.
accent?
Yeah. Let's dissect this backwards a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
You didn't want to be associated with a certain part of the world, right?
God, that sounds terrible, yeah.
No, that's fine. Here's the deal. Like, there's an element of, I say that if I go down a rabbit hole, it's because like everybody experiences this, but it's like the childhood stuff, right?
Yeah,
100%. Like,
yeah.
most of my clients, I've dealt with these things. I think it's one of those things where I came to peace with it a little bit earlier than most, right? Like, I'm the youngest in my family, and my older siblings have all come to me and like tried to have me help them navigate like how to handle a familial thing.
Are you the oldest?
No, I'm the youngest.
Oh.
So the older ones come to me because it is, I think like choosing an identity is one of the most authentic things you can do. You chose, it sounds bad because it's like you chose anti-Devin. No, you chose something that more fit that level of discovery you were trying to find.
Yeah.
Like, you could feel like an imposter every day. I tell my clients especially, I'm like, you're going to have plenty of critics. Don't be the biggest one.
Yeah.
There's no value in you beating yourself up.
Yeah.
No one has it figured out.
Yeah.
So if you made that decision, I would be much more fascinated in the story versus like the connotation and how it appears. It's like, no, you made it consciously.
Yeah.
What was the conscious telling you? Yeah. And if it feels less desirable now, what was that? 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Times change.
Yeah, times do change. Yeah. I think it's funny, like a couple of my clients have said to me recently, very recently, that the penny has dropped for them since working with me in terms of like the authenticity side of things. I think everyone's trying to be someone else to a degree, even the most authentic people in the world. The reason I promote authenticity, let's just get this straight, is because it attracts the type of people that you truly like.
Yeah.
And that goes for business and dating and friendship. That goes for every part of your life.
Yeah.
And I think I only realized, I'm in my late 20s now, but I think I only really realized in my, a couple of years ago, maybe even starting the business, about the importance of authenticity and how it benefits me. It was when I worked on the super yachts, actually, I started growing the moustache. Because it was the first time in my life I was like, wait a minute, no one's telling me what to look like.
Yeah, you can create your own
I
rules.
can grow a moustache. Yeah. I did it for Movember to start with, and I was like, kind of like this.
Yeah.
Magnum PI.
You can pull that off. You look good, yeah. Yeah, not everyone can pull that off.
Yeah. So then I grew that, and then I got my sort of like shit mullet back. And then when I started the business, I shaved it all and went back normal. And I was like, wait a minute. I want to be authentic here. So I'm just going to do what I like. And then I'm a terrible swearer. I'm really bad at swearing. And so is my family. And so to be truly authentic, I'd have to swear. Now my swearing does get a bit overboard sometimes. And so I do have to, I have to tone it back to a slight degree, not massively. I am going to still swear, I think. This is me on my journey, right, with this business.
Yeah.
I am going to tone it back a wee bit because I think it does, the F word does. If you say it too often, it just comes across a bit silly. All this moustache growing, mullet growing is my attempt to be more authentic, to be as authentic as I can to myself, because I can't tell my clients to go and be authentic if I'm not doing it myself.
Yeah, modeling's the best teacher. Yeah.
And also I want to attract people that I truly align with, that I get on a call with, and they know me, they know my vibe, they know my energy because they've seen me online, they've watched my videos, they've seen my content, they've read my content, they know what I'm about. They've seen that I have a moustache, whatever. I don't think that's that revolutionary. I don't know why I'm putting so much attention on it, but it's my attempt to attract people that I really, truly love working with.
Yeah.
People that, you say this, and I don't think I can bring myself to say this because it's, for me, quite cringy, but your vibe is your tribe. Your vibe is your tribe.
Yeah, I only say that backed on data. Like, I'm not trying to sound woo-woo. It's
Backed on
just
what data?
basically humans kind of statistically, I'm not, please don't like fact check this if you're listening to this, but like statistically, just from my perception of the world,
Yeah.
I have seen the majority of people try and find other people like them. Like, for instance, we were recording about this retreat, right? And I think it was Boston who said, what did I like best? I liked being around like-minded people.
Yeah.
I think like-mindedness can be interpreted in so many different ways, generally positive.
Yeah.
But if, no, please, yeah, say your point.
You vibe with them, but also you're best placed to help them because you can effectively communicate with these type of people.
Yeah, but I
they
think
get
the most beautiful version of it though is more of like that acceptance of differences and still vibing, right? Because I'm not saying vibe attracts your tribe as in like, yeah, we are absolutely the same politically, or we care the same, you know, those things can be like supplements to it if it matters to you. But I more mean like, you know, we are very different in so many ways, and it doesn't matter.
You've got covered in tattoos.
Yeah, well, and that was something too, is like, this is my interpretation of authenticity, is someone who is willing to find out what they care about. It's not a end station, it's a progression.
Yeah.
And your thoughts change. And I'm only newly coming on to that. So like, I rebranded my whole business because there was only one final piece that felt misaligned.
Which was?
And it was, I am targeting just agency owners to scale their agency.
This is the pivot you've made.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's what I know.
Yeah.
Because I had a multi-7-figure agency.
Yeah.
But I left.
He's made loads of money.
No, my agency made loads of money.
This is a joke I did in my last
I was going to say.
Loads of money.
Yeah, my agency, by standards, made plenty of money. If you've been in business more than 5 minutes, you realize you don't make that much money as a
Tax,
founder.
baby.
Yeah.
Two certainties in life, death and tax.
But why would I teach something that no longer aligns with me? It was my life for 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's all I cared about from a professional perspective.
Yeah.
But then I changed my mind.
Yeah.
Now, am I inauthentic because what I truly believe is an expiring business model? It's not dead yet, but it's on its way.
Yeah. Would
I be inauthentic because I saw writing on the wall, at least my perception of the writing on the wall, and didn't change?
No. That is authenticity.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like it's so black and white. Yeah. Like, you showed a comment from somebody on your post or whatever. When I see this is gonna get super deep for a second. I've actually, just full disclosure, because I'm a very transparent person, I've noticed a lot of the guys here talk about their physical appearance a lot. I used to be like that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying, like, typically when you see or hear something that is misaligned, as in like you don't vibe with it, right? Someone gives you a shitty comment on a post, or somebody's like, I can't believe you think that, or whatever. In almost every case, that is their personal insecurity being shelled out at you through your actual lens, because it makes them feel safe to know that somebody else is fucked.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you're fucked too. We're all fucked. Yeah. Like, it's not...
We've all got our own, even if our bodies are better, we've all got our own problems.
Yeah, and so I could be construed as like unemotional.
Yeah.
Right? I think I appreciate empathy more than most, and I can execute empathy not as like a robotic thing, but as in like a very...
It's a cultural thing, sadly, for us Brits.
It is. Yeah, you have tall poppy syndrome. You have
So I'm so glad that you've been around us. You've been working with Callum, obviously, who's a Brit, and he's very sarcastic. He's very British. He's very typically British. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, of course. And we love him for that.
We absolutely
love him for many reasons.
He's from Hull.
Yeah.
Hull. Yeah. So you've experienced what we're like, but if you did come here, having had no exposure to our banter,
bit of
bants, then you would have been incredibly surprised and probably very shocked, with the way we...
I don't know, though. Yeah, see, it's one of those things too. Well, like double click on that. Like, what do you mean by it?
Well, like you said, we're talking about our appearances, and Brits have lots of subtle things that we communicate with in each other,
Yeah, sure.
with each other. I can't really put my finger on it, to be honest, but there's lots of things that we do, subtle things that you wouldn't normally notice, whereas Americans are like, I'm going to be completely honest here. I'm going to put all my cards on the table.
A lot of that's a front, though, as well, yeah.
Okay, right. So
Yeah.
that was going to be my next question. So you're saying it's a front, so therefore, is that inauthentic?
Well, I mean, we're speaking in generalities. It's not always a front. Like, it depends on the person, right? But you do get that comment from, east of us a lot of like, oh, you guys are just like, you just say anything. Like, you're just open. You'll say whatever you want.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you my deepest dark. I've just met you. Stop.
Correct. Yeah. Their oversharing is a thing.
Yeah.
Right. But like, do you think it's strictly down to, nature versus nurture, like just the physical location and, the actual structures built around that? Or is there a part of you that agrees with it? Like, is there a part of you that hasn't really changed much of your ideology in the last, like, since you became an adult at 18 to now? But I mean,
we've all changed. We all adapt.
Yeah.
Partners, business adventures, they change us. They help us learn what we want, our behaviors, how we should be acting. I'm trying to become a better listener, and stuff like that.
Get a partner and it'll help you. Take your time on that. Don't rush into it. But
I did, and yeah.
When you find the right one, they'll teach you how to listen. I was really bad at listening for 10 years.
Yeah. Okay, right. We have very similar aligned beliefs, but we don't help the same people. You help agency owners.
Well, I help basically anyone who's looking for a simple business. The common through line for them, because I don't want to be too broad or whatever, is like, if you provide human services to other humans, right? So agency owners fit that build, because it's like, I sold SEO for a long time, search engine optimization. It's like, yeah, that's still humans doing the work. And that's how I used to, this was pre-AI, of course, but even towards the end, I was like, hey, you think you bought like better keyword rankings in Google, or you think you bought content. No, you bought humans doing work.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get as close to the source as freaking possible. And many times I would just ask them and be like, what do you think you bought?
Yeah.
And then I always weirdly get lectures from older people being like, you should tell them what they bought before they buy it. And I'm like, yeah, I was a project manager. I wasn't the salesperson.
Yeah.
I'm confirming the relationship, right? But it's like, that's what I like about the source. Like, when I hear, to circle back on the physical appearance thing, it's totally normal. I'm not judging you guys for it. What I hear is like, oh, these guys are seeking like more love, like more affirmation, more just security, because they can't necessarily trust themselves to give it in every situation.
Yeah.
But I can't trust myself in every situation
culture
either.
And maturity, I think. Yeah.
Or just having so many terrible experiences that you finally like change your mind on.
Yeah. Anyway, the point I wanted to make there was that one of our similar beliefs is that there is no such thing as competition in business. You put it better than me. I basically agreed with everything Colby said yesterday in your brilliant...
Except?
No, not except.
Oh man, I was hoping you would say except.
You just say it in a better way.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff you were saying, I was like, can I nod even more to agree with this? My neck will come off if I wanted to agree more. But one of the things that really chimed with me, and I want to cover now, is how there is no such thing as competition when you have a personal brand in business.
Yeah.
Because who wants to work with me doesn't want to work with you, and who wants to work with you doesn't want to work with me.
Yeah.
And that's why I collaborate with personal branding people all the time, because they attract people people that chime with them, people that get their vibe.
Oh yeah.
Right? I'm probably not best placed to help them, or they're better placed to help someone else.
Yeah.
It's like when you start talking about what you did, I was like, actually, there's people that have approached me, or people that I know that could really do with your expertise and your business. So I have realised, which I think is quite good, that, and I posted this earlier on Instagram, I don't want to work with everyone. So I don't want to work with people that aren't willing to be authentic. I don't want to work with people that are doing it for the money.
Yeah.
I don't want to work, and I put that into the ether. I'm like, if you don't align with that, I don't want to work with you.
I think you have a skill, by the way. I think you've not really mentioned writing at all, but I like the captions a lot more than anything else. I find they're like your LinkedIn post the other day. It's really good.
Really?
Yeah, not because I was in it. I'm like, oh wow, Ben's got like a talent for this. I don't think he realizes it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't
So long as you wrote it.
I don't copy and paste from ChatGPT, but I do use ChatGPT to help me.
Yeah, I use mine as kind of like a filter to kind of like judge it based on the profile of the person I'm looking for, and then I will tweak. Very, very rarely do I take it hook and sinker, but it's always original first, and then a reframe. Like, hey, this might hit better if you like switch these words, blah blah blah.
Do you use it for video scripts?
No, I don't do scripts at all.
I heard you say that earlier, and that was really interesting. So do you do? So for people that want to make video content out there, so this is relatable. How do you come up with your brilliant...
It's a lot like this, like we're just talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So how do you come up with those ideas and how do you let it flow? You clearly know what the fuck you're talking about, hence you're able to sit here now and talk to me. Where do the content ideas come from?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to like understand the game a little bit, but there's an element where probably like once a week, Ben, I'm just like, what the fuck do I care about this? If this is a viral hook or what do I care about?
No,
exactly. So it's
who
like,
gives a fuck?
it's more of like one of my former mentors, he said it really good. He's like, don't create content, create art. And to me, I'm only ever thinking about like, what would be a problem that I've had in the past that I feel comfortable enough to say, here's how I solved it.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love storytelling, but it's one of those things where my whole mission for 2025, by the way, is just to like find my brand identity. And
clarity.
I do that through
That's exactly why I'm here on this Founders Retreat, is to find clarity.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that through a system. I'm doing it through just like reps. Like that's why I brought up Atomic Habits yesterday. Is like, if I want to be a person who can create art, I have to stack evidence for myself that I'm on the right path. My posts bomb like anybody else's. Like I can't say I've ever gone viral.
You don't want to.
I don't
you don't
care.
need to. No, I don't give a fuck.
And
like
to go back earlier, I say like know your master.
Yeah.
Right? If you need likes and stuff on your post, your master is like some sort of affirmation or status or fame or whatever.
Because you've lacked something previously.
Yeah, my master is my potential. My master is my potential. So as long as I'm moving towards, and I don't know where that ends.
No.
All I know is that if I keep doing it the same way, I'm not going to reach my potential. And if I follow somebody else's path, I'm not going to reach my potential. So I don't want to make anything different than like, it is cloudy as hell. It's just a general direction.
Yeah.
And so I just do that every day. That's why I enjoy the day to day. Like money, I'm not worried about money.
Yeah.
Because it's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah. I mean, when I first had passion with the business early in January, I don't want to give the whole life story, but I had a one-on-one offer. And then when it was going really well, I made way more than I thought I would. Yeah. I was like, yeah, but how does this feel though? Like, do I want to do one-on-one this whole time?
Yeah.
I wanted to do an element of it. I didn't want it to be the core piece.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I'm like a psycho. I think like 100 thoughts every second and I'm judging like real-time data in my head.
So clarity for me is working with the people that I love working with. I really want to help. Money is not the most important thing to me. Same as you. Yes, I do need to put food on the table. And when you're starting a business, it can be pretty tough.
Yeah.
But I think putting in those reps, as you said, and I call it training a muscle with my clients, creating content, speaking to people, doing podcasts, helps you get that clarity, because the more you fucking talk about it, the clearer you're going to get on who you help. And the more people you talk to and the more people you work with, the clearer you're going to get with who you truly are best placed to help and who you truly love working with. Yeah.
Evidence, right? Like you just, like everyone's so in a hurry. I kind of said that yesterday too, where I'm just like, if you're just in a hurry to have a successful business, that's not the game.
We're basically saying, in a roundabout way, what Gary Vaynerchuk constantly spouts. Like, just enjoy the journey, bro, or whatever.
It sounds cliche as hell, but
it's fucking true.
It's so true. Like, there's no reason why half the people I talk to every week should be talking to me. Yeah. Because almost all of my clients are more successful. Yeah. I mean, all of them are making more money than me right now, simply because I just pivoted, right?
But you can give them something.
Yeah, like I've defined success for years as, do I have higher level problems this year than I did a year ago? Like right now than I did 365 days
And
ago.
if you do have higher level problems, you're being more successful.
I'm on the path to success, or I am successful, or however you want to judge it. It's like,
you got 3 kids, you got big problems.
Yeah, 3 years ago I burned out twice in the same year. Yeah. So if now what
did that look like? Burnout.
Thought I was going to die. twice.
Jesus Christ.
But that's what anxiety does to you. I wasn't gonna die, but that's what like anxiety and just not being in control.
Yeah.
Right. And so kind of the main thing I'm trying to bring to the world in its early days, and let this be kind of the first public place, is like, I don't think that autonomy is a destination. Autonomy is kind of my word. Like that's the name of the business, Autonomy Club and all that sort of stuff. Because I think autonomy is the true elite way of being, right? But so many people think
Independence.
to be completely self-trusting, to do whatever you want without fear, like that kind of stuff. And I think what people are missing, like there's strictly just one barrier to that, is that they think I need to then get.
Yeah.
I need to do something to get autonomy.
Yeah.
You can be autonomous right now.
Yeah.
Like everything I do is choice-based.
Yeah.
And there's this, I don't know why I'm thinking of this now, but there's a really good quote that I'm not going to get perfectly. It's something like, you can't want a lot of money and then scoff at people who have it.
Yeah.
So if you look at a guy driving a Lambo and be like, frickin' tool, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I judge almost nobody now, which is like this really beautiful place in life where I used to be really bad at that.
Brits are pretty bad. We're pretty bad.
Yeah,
in a jokey way.
I'm not perfect with that, and like of course I slip up all the time, probably daily, where I just don't realize. But like in terms of like judging somebody, you know, unless they're an absolutely shitty human who are like killing people to make money or something, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I wouldn't do that, but I respect you for it.
Yeah. Okay, so here's how I used to work in a call center when I was 18. These are the kind of jobs that built me, right?
Yeah, same.
Sales calls.
We actually, yeah, I worked in
sales
call
calls,
well.
selling solar panels.
Yeah.
And I used to work with Deliveroo on the phones, like
Sure.
Uber Eats. People used to call me saying, "Oh, I haven't got a straw with my milkshake." And I'm like, there are children being killed in Gaza and you're worried about having straw with your milkshake.
Enough to make a phone call about it, yeah.
Right? And it got to the point where I just started hanging up on people. This is ridiculous. This is silly.
Yeah.
The way I dealt with that was to pity and feel sorry for those people. And I've kept that attribute to this day.
100%.
Anyone who's angry or shouty or unhappy, clearly unhappy, is unhappy, and I feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
I really do feel sorry for you. It's a genuine emotional. That is my genuine emotional reaction to people like that.
Yeah, we share that exactly. Like when I see that sort of stuff, I just think like, what a tragedy. I like that's the word. That word pops in my head all the time. Like on the plane ride here, you know, I was like towards the final third of the plane, and so they were serving in-flight meals, and they had 3 choices, right? It was like lasagna, chicken, or veggies, or whatever. And right before my row, they were out of chicken, and I was like, oh, I was gonna get chicken.
Someone went ape shit.
Well, not necessarily, but I was gonna get chicken, right? And I was like, nah, fine, lasagna's fine, whatever. The person next to me was like, can I have a chicken, please? And they're like, we just ran out. She goes, well, I really wanted chicken. Yeah, and she stuck with it.
Oh.
And so, but here's the deal. They found a chicken in the back. So she got it by putting up a fight, which is, there's an element of like, you can look at this from 2 lenses. That's admirable, stand for what you care about. Or there's a lot of entitlement there, blah, blah, blah. It's not my position to judge, right? But I look at that and I think, it's just kind of sad. Like, you expect someone to give you exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Just because, and this happens in business all the time. Like I used to tell my employees constantly, I was like, do you think your job is to like make the client happy?
Yeah.
Like the client doesn't know what they want. I'm not saying this is a control thing. I'm saying this is an objective, like objectivity machine. How do we get the result we need?
Yeah.
And if they are personally sabotaging that, I see it as your responsibility to politically correct, politely tell them why you go in this direction. And you might not be right.
Yeah.
But it's like your job is not to fulfill their ego.
Yeah.
And keep the peace. Clients always no.
Yeah.
That's, you know, I would tell them so many different things. Like, did you ever watch Mad Men?
No, I know what it is. No, it's from the 20s, isn't it?
It's probably one of my, well, it's like set in the 60s of like advertising in New York.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite shows. But one of the main characters in there, he's like running a, you know, creative director, and he's like, the day you start getting clients is the day you start losing them. And that's, I've inherently lost more clients than anyone I talk, because having clients is like, it's not a freaking lifelong marriage. If you keep a client for even over 3 years, it's just rare. It's rare. Like I average around like 5 years keeping clients. My competitors selling the exact same thing, we're averaging 6 to 8 months.
Right.
And I think the difference could be like, oh wow, you're really smart and talented, or no, I fucking gave a shit.
Yeah.
And if I didn't do something to a standard, I went on my own and improved it.
Yeah.
And so when I hear like I really wanted chicken, that's like saying I'm not in control of my situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a guise of control of saying, give me what I want.
Yeah.
But you're like, I was in control of my thoughts and being like, how can I handle this situation?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, we have these micro decisions every day. Again, going back to creating evidence, and then I'll shut up, is like, if you create evidence that you can't handle yourself when something goes wrong, life is messy as shit.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's only the super emotional people who think I'm unemotional. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I'm actually trying to, again, it's the same thing with business. I'm trying to stay in the game in a way that makes me feel like wholesome, healthy, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to win anything.
It's very, very admirable. And it's a great place to be in life, I think.
Yeah.
How can someone find authenticity? Practice. Well, first of all, it starts with clarity. And it starts with understanding who you truly are. And quite often that will take time and a lot of reflection. Maybe some people don't realize they're being authentic.
Do you ever get that comment? I get that comment all the time. You're so authentic. What, like, if someone says that to you, what do you think?
Yeah, no. So I think people say about my content.
Yeah.
You're very authentic. This is the reason I upload my bloopers, is because that is me being my stupidest self. Well, that is me being my true self. I shouldn't say stupid, sorry. That is me literally being me. That is Ben being Ben. We're recording a podcast. Do you want to say hello? Have you got any beers?
We're out of beers? Oh, dang, okay. Colby's going to be sober going downtown.
How would you say someone could find authenticity?
How did you find authenticity?
How did you find authenticity?
What was the watershed moment?
Better for it.
Better for it. I was tagged here.
Better for it.
What I say with authenticity is that whenever you do communicate with somebody a message that actually is your honest communication, you're always going to piss someone off in some realm.
Yeah.
But if you come from a place of respect and transparency, at the end of the day, you can't control them. All you can control is their reaction and how you respond to it. So
that to me is self-selection. So you push away people that you don't like, and you naturally attract people that you do like. So it gently tells people to fuck off when you're being your authentic self.
And it comes down to that tribe aspect as well. Like Colby said, you do navigate naturally towards your tribe without even knowing.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I spent a couple of months trying to copy. Yeah. And I didn't realize I was doing it.
I did it when I started. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's almost like it's almost an insecurity and
not knowing where do you start?
Yeah, so, and I think that's something really kind of crazy for people who do their own thing, especially founders. Like, there's no real rule book to what we do. Yeah. It's all just like,
you have to find it just takes fucking time.
Yeah, let's throw shit out and see what happens. And it's so easy to be like, okay, well, they're doing it. They make a lot more money than me. They have a lot more clients than me. They're a lot more successful for me than me. So I need to just do exactly what they do. Yeah. And I did that for way too long. And I think it really killed a lot of my general vibe for what I do really easily.
Yeah. I think, I definitely copied people. I went and looked at other personal branding people and took their approach to it and took this corporate fucking approach to it, because that's probably who they worked with, was typically corporate people. And then it took me only like 4 or 5 months, and I was like, what the fuck am I putting out there? This is not what I want to attract. In fact, I did actually, off the back of that, I did actually attract some clients that I was like, whoa, why are you approaching me?
Yeah, and that's why, that reel.
So I had to take a serious look at myself.
Yeah, and that reel that you did just before you posted on your Instagram about like how do you know when you gain your shit clients or something like that?
Oh yeah.
I did the same thing. I was like not being my true authentic self over online because I was, trying to make shortcuts, and I was like, fuck, now I've got these shittier clients. I think shittier isn't the right word. I think it's more, that's kind of disrespectful. Yes. Again, I'm saying something.
A bad fit. A misaligned.
Not a best fit.
Not a shit person at all. It's just they're better suited. Someone else is better suited to help that person.
And I realized that during that process, I was like, this is actually causing more harm than good, like what you said, you know. And it's really hard to like stop. It's really hard to stop and take a reflection and be like, whoa, actually, because like, again, Colby said some absolute fucking gems yesterday. He's like, even if it's not worth, it's never worth the money.
Yeah.
And that was like, for me, when I was at that stage, when I was doing it, I just moved from Australia to the UK. All I cared about was paying rent, having enough money to do things with my girlfriend and do stuff together. And I didn't give a fuck how I made it. And I think that was the toxic resilience.
You had to make money. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't the fact I had to make money. It was like,
table.
yeah, I've never been in a position before where I actually had to make revenue or income for myself and actually keep it to survive.
Yeah.
Because my business was always run out of my fucking bedroom in my parents' house.
Yeah.
And it was like the first time in my life where I was like, okay, there's no reliance on anybody else right now. It's me.
Yeah.
And it was like that first initial 6 to 8 months, which was just a crazy amount of pressure. And that's where a lot of that, in combination with insecurities and imposter syndrome, fueled that copiness to just put out content that resembled a lot of what everybody else is doing. That's making a lot more money than me, in the hope to make a lot more money. But all it brought was just
shit clients.
Misaligned
clients. Sorry.
Misaligned. A real.
When did you start attracting the right clients? And I'm not going to ask you like when was the pivot?
I'm still figuring it out.
I think we all are.
You know, like I had a chat with a guy today about jumping on board the program. He didn't sign up on the call, but I'm actually like it happens with a fair few clients I have. I'm really low key hoping he does, because me and him were vibing. Like he said to me, I have 20 minutes. I've got another call at 12:30. I said, sweet, I'm not gonna be around the bush. And he loved that. And I was like, I love the fact that you love that, because that's how I vibe. You know, I'm like, what's your problems? Where do you want to be? Why do you want to be there?
How do you think you can attract more of those type of people then? I
guess just being more myself.
Well, sharing the experience that particular person has had.
Yeah, potentially.
Like sharing.
Actually, maybe from a tactical perspective,
like even the most basic shit, like share a testimonial from him.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, he hasn't joined up to the program.
No, I know. But in the future,
I'm hoping that he does.
Yeah, just like get him in front of the camera, and
like I've got clients right now. Like there's probably 40% of my clientele. No, I take that back. 60% of my clientele right now, I'm like, you're my ideal client. Another 20% is like characteristics of my ideal client, but they've just got other things that are out of their control. And it's just, it's that the other 20%, they're potentially people that I have on board that not the best fit for my coaching approach, but still the same time, they're getting that needle moving in the desired direction, which still ticks my box of impacting as many people as I can. But the 60% I have, like, that gets me up in the morning. Like I had a fucking girl just now, literally just send me, I think like for me, I always dreamt of helping people with what they can do with their food and exercise. And I always was like, holy shit, if I could do this full time, this would be crazy. And like now I'm like getting videos of clients sending me their runs, them running, being a selfie, like, holy fuck, this is awesome. People are messaging me saying, I've never felt so good. Like it's actually happening, which is really cool. And that 60% make my dream come true. And I think I want to make that 60 into 90, because it will never be 100. I know.
No. Some people always slip through the cracks. Okay, so talking about ideal clients and attracting people that you vibe with, do you use the language when you're booking like an appointment, for example, like, shall we jump on a call and see if we are a good fit for one another? What type of language do you use?
Yeah, so it used to be like that.
It's not like a done deal. It's not like a done deal.
Yeah.
Like, let's jump on a call and let's see how we can work together. No, let's get on a call and let's see if we are a good fit to work together, because we might not be. You've just sent me a fucking DM.
It used to be pretty much script like that, like me just being like that. But now it's actually kind of a little bit different. It's still similar like context, but it's a little bit different. And it's like, we can jump on a call. We can figure out where you are, why you're there, and how you can get out of it, and how we can roadmap that all together. if you want to have a discussion about how I can help you out personally, we can have that discussion on the call after.
Yeah.
Or you can say goodbye, you'll take some knowledge and
Yeah.
you know what to do next, and
Yeah.
I'll see you later. So instead of me being
There's no
like
desperation.
Yeah, that's it. I've taken the desperation out of it with not knowing I had the desperation there from the get-go. So it's like okay, instead I'm giving them the power.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, again, Colby, you fucking keep coming up. It's really a good sign of what
I've
you
got
do
a
is amazing.
note on my phone with the quotes that he comes out with.
Yeah. So it was almost like at that point I realized, okay, when I listened to Colby say, I was like, okay, cool, I'm on the right track of how I want to navigate
Yes, I felt that as well.
or gravitate the people I want in my world.
Mm.
As opposed to, you know, trying to force a sale, because it used to be like that, you know, like, I don't even know if I'm going to be a good fit for you. I don't even know what I'm selling you. I've got nothing to sell you. It's like, I get it. You have nothing to sell me now, but you are selling something.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm like being like, you know, here's a fucking, you want this?
Yeah.
Here, you tell me if you want to buy it or not, because I'm not going to fucking.
Yeah, I'm not going to force you to buy it.
I'm not going to force you to buy it, but I know I love those fucking things and they're amazing.
Yeah.
You know, like
if you like them, I like them. You know, if you don't like them, then, you know, maybe we won't get along.
And that's where like my content, the authenticity comes from.
Yeah.
Because if I don't generally say that I love this and with enough conviction in my fucking content or voice, then people are going to be like, well, you don't.
50% of the sale is a transfer of enthusiasm.
And you know, exactly. But you know, also another thing, we don't communicate with words. We communicate with body language.
80%.
Yeah, body language. If they don't see it in my content, then I'm just being like, if you keep on drinking Coca-Cola, or it's like if you keep on drinking Coca-Colas and you don't make the switch to like a diet soft drink, you're gonna keep getting fat and you're probably gonna die early.
Yeah.
Or if I say it like this, if you drink Coca-Cola, and if you don't make the switch, do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a whole that was so much more convincing, so much more conviction because I actually fucking believe in that. You know? So
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Right, I need a beer.